A child has a near-death experience and soon after begins remembering her former life where she was an Egyptian priestess, and goes on to become a renowned Egyptologist and helps uncover some hidden chambers in ancient Egyptian temples that only she had knowledge of. If you like true stories of the macabre, strange, and paranormal, then click on that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you can be notified when another episode of Grim Events is uploaded. So, without further ado, I give you the tale of Omm Sety. The tale of Omm Sety begins in 1904, where she was born in London, England, and named Dorothy Eady. At 3 years old, young Dorothy fell down a stairwell and at first was pronounced dead by the doctor that came to the home. They left the young child's body in her bedroom while her parents went in their room to grieve and mourn the loss of their young child. But shortly after, they began to hear laughing and running around coming from young Dorothy's room, and they were astonished to find Dorothy up and playing around in her room with her dolls, laughing and giggling. Something was off, though. She had a different accent when she spoke, and she kept speaking of, quote, going home. They immediately called the doctor back to the house, and he was just as surprised as the parents were that the little girl was fine, swearing that she was dead. Shortly after the accident, she began to have recurring dreams, in which she saw a huge building with columns and a garden filled with fruits and flowers. Often her mother would find her weeping, and when she would ask the child why, the child would say, "I want to go home," refusing to accept that she was already home. A few months after the accident, Dorothy's parents took her to an Egyptian exhibition at the British Museum, and it was there that she spotted a photo, shouting, "That is my home!" According to legend, the young Dorothy then asked, "Where are the trees? Where's the garden?" before running around the exhibit and kissing the feet of multiple statues. Young Dorothy was so loud at the exhibit, exclaiming that that was her real home and running around the exhibit, that her parents grew embarrassed and took the young girl home, who by that time was screaming and crying, not wanting to leave. She became so obsessed with pharaohs, priestesses, temples, ancient Egypt, and the idea of, quote, going home, that her parents got a psychiatrist involved. But nothing could discourage her. At age 6, having learned to read English, she stated that hieroglyphic writing was familiar to her, but that she had forgotten how to read it. At age 7, she saw pictures of the temple of Seti I in Egypt and claimed that this building is the one that which she had dreamed. This was her home, she told her parents. "This is where I used to live, but why is it all broken? Where is the garden?" Seeing a picture of the well-preserved mummy of Seti I, a late 13th century BC pharaoh, she claimed to have known him personally. At age 10, Edie was noticed by the eminent Egyptologist E.A. Wallace Budge of the British Museum, and he agreed to teach her hieroglyphics. At age 14, she experienced a nighttime vision of Seti I with an expression of somebody in hell who has suddenly found a way out. She also had a recurring dream in which she and other Egyptian women and girls lay on a rush of mats in an enormous room, and an old man carrying a lamp checked to see if they were in their proper places. In a subterranean chamber, a high priest interrogated her and beat her when she refused to answer questions. At the age of 27, Edie began writing and drawing cartoons for an Egyptian magazine. She soon after married a young Egyptian, and it enabled her to obtain Egyptian citizenship, and she soon moved to Egypt. By Edie's account, the spirit of Seti I made more visits and was seen by family members and others. She often got up in the middle of the night and wrote in hieroglyphics, telling her husband that she was writing down details of her past life that a being named Hor-Ra was dictating to her. The story given to her was as follows. She was born to a soldier and a vegetable seller who named her Bintresha, meaning harp of joy. When her mother died, she was sent off to become a priestess of the temple of Isis. At 14, she was noticed by the young king Seti, who was visiting the temple, and they had a short affair. Found to be pregnant, she was interrogated by the high priest and beaten when she refused to answer, a scene that corresponded to her childhood nightmares. Eventually, she confessed that her lover had been the king, and to spare him embarrassment, she committed suicide. But she remained in love with him and was happy when his spirit joined hers in between incarnations. Now, at this point, some might say that this woman has a really vivid imagination. Or is there more to the story? Let's find out. So, Edie and her husband divorced in 1936. She moved to a village near the Giza pyramids with her son, Seti, and she even changed her name to Omm Sety, meaning Mother of Seti, and found work with the Egyptian Department of Antiquities, and that was the start of her long career in Egyptology. She participated in digs, made copies of artwork and authors' papers, working with leaders in the field such as Salim Hassan, Ahmed Fakhri, and Labib Habachi, and please forgive me if I butchered those names. In 1952, Edie made her first visit to the Temple of Seti I. She said that she felt as if she had walked into a place where she had lived before. In a test set by the chief inspector of the Egyptian Department of Antiquities, she claimed to have been able to locate certain scenes depicted on wall murals in pitch darkness. She also marked the locations of the gardens she recalled, where a dig later revealed ancient tree stumps. She remained in Abydos to the end of her life, helping with archaeological work at the Temple of Seti and other sites, and later working as a tour guide. She became close to the Egyptian industrial chemist and amateur Egyptologist Hani El-Zini. El-Zini corroborated Omm Sety's knowledge of the location of the temple garden, having witnessed the digging up of the ancient tree stumps there himself. He also reported that an Egyptian antiquities inspector confirmed Omm Sety's correct location of the garden and had been instrumental in the discovery of a tunnel running under the temple. The inspector is said to have added that her help was indispensable for future archaeological work on the site. Now, this is just a brief, short rundown of some of the stories of Omm Sety. There are plenty more that you can research on your own. There's plenty of books, videos, all about her. But what I want to know, do you honestly believe that she was a reincarnation from ancient Egyptian times? Or did she just have a really vivid imagination and was a lucky guesser? I don't know. I can say it's pretty interesting myself. Not sure exactly what to think. So leave your comment below and let me know what you think. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in. You have a great day. Bye-bye.